We don't, can we have 2 minutes? 1 minute, please?
Should have done that yesterday. None whatsoever.
Contingent upon making sure those projects die, if we need to make a
Working
change.
together, not,
Okay.
you know, one's like a way down the road and one needs the other one type thing. Is that
As long as,
Concern is not to disturb the
yeah, and that what we got submitted, what we do today does not necessarily have to be ready. If it works in our favor, we have the ability to make it. Okay.
Can we go now?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I want to welcome everybody to our August 30th Planning and Development Services meeting. I think we got several legislative items and one additional discussion. Mac, when we get to the QJs, or we can do it now, I don't see any reason why we can't. There are several of them that has been asked to be postponed. Or
Yes, sir. If you'd like to cover those at the front of the meeting, we can certainly do
Well,
that.
let's go ahead and maybe get them out of the way.
Yes, sir. In the quasi-judicial section that begins on the second page, item number 6 is a request to table at the request of the applicant.
Okay. We'll do them one at a time, I guess, since we got some that's tabled and some that's just continued. What's the board's wishes on number 6?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, Mac.
Thank you, sir. Number 7, the applicant has requested that item to be tabled also.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
And number 8, the Churchill Oaks Phase 1 replat. The applicant's requesting to continue to September 27th BCC at 9 a.m. In this location.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
And number 13, Ocean Estates plat. That is a request to continue to September 27th at 9 a.m. in this location.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, so we'll hit the first one on the agenda, US 331 Economic Development Plan.
Yes, sir. The US 331 Economic Development Plan, we're requesting a recommendation for approval, modification, or denial of the final US 331 Economic Development Plan. This is a living document. We intend that this would be updated on a regular basis and kept current as a marketing tool for this particular corridor. Kristen will give you a little bit more detail.
I have a short presentation, but I don't have to do it. I'll leave that up to you. We can just talk about the recommendations that are in here, or I can show you how do we feel.
What's the board's wishes? I've read through it.
I read it.
Yeah, I didn't have any questions. I think it's a great plan, and I'm,
Yeah.
just proud that we can do it.
Okay,
Ditto, or ditto, that's it. I knew it was one of those big words.
Okay. Tony, you got anything you want to?
No, I'm fine with whatever y'all decide.
Seal, you're okay with it?
Yes, absolutely.
And Sarah, you apparently are okay with it too.
and
So unless you just want to carry on.
no, sir, I don't, and that's great, and it will come back. There will be the adoption of the comprehensive plan amendments, so we'll get to, have another crack at it if there's anything that comes up in the interim.
Okay. So we will need to have a motion to approve, modify, and deny.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. That moves us to our legislative item section of our agenda this morning. Number 2, the Greenway Station Conceptual PUD Overlay Ordinance. This is an adoption hearing. We've had first reading of this particular item. It's a request to approve by ordinance. It's been reviewed by Tim Brown. It will be adding section 2.06.06 to the Walton County Land Development Code to adopt the Greenway Station Conceptual PUD and Master Plan as an overlay district. It establishes a defined boundary. It establishes regulatory conditions for the planned unit development overlay. And it's being incorporated into the LDC as Appendix PDO-5 to the Walton County Land Development Code.
Any questions from the board? None. Does the applicant wish to make any comment?
No, you've already heard the details of the PUD, conceptual plan, et cetera. This is just the adoption of the overlay, so if there's any questions, be happy to answer them.
All right, what's the board's wishes?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, sir. That brings us to item number 3, Waterfalls by the Bay Large-Scale Amendment Adoption Hearing. This is a request to approve by ordinance. It's been reviewed by Tim Brown. It has been reviewed by the state for appropriate concerns regarding state and regional resources. We've got no comment letters back from all of the state agencies. We do have recommendations from Fish and Wildlife that will be incorporated into the development order, but they returned a no comment letter also. This was approved by the Planning Commission on June 14th, and the Board of County Commissioners voted to transmit the amendment to the state on July 10th, and this is our adoption hearing.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions if you.
Is there any questions? Any from the applicant wish to make any statements?
Briefly, Mr. Chairman, David Theriak on behalf of the applicant. Good morning. I put on each of your chairs, to kind of expedite it, a 3-ring binder with certain exhibits in case you want to look at them for any questions. If I could just briefly walk through those so they're in the record. The first document is the final order that the board approved on July 10 for the conceptual PUD. The second tab is the conceptual master plan, just to refresh your recollection. The third tab is the site plan. The fourth tab is the PUD document. The fifth tab is the land use compatibility analysis. The next tab is the amended analysis of density. Tab 7 is the proposed ordinance. Tab 8 is an example of a nature observation deck that would be built on the property for use by the public. Number 9 is an agreement between Christy Callaway and my client, J&L Eagle Cove, for certain conditions that have been incorporated into the site plan. Number 10 is the letter from DEO stating that they had no objection to the large-scale amendment. It's dated August 24. Number 11 is the letter that Mr. Carpenter referenced from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. They had no objections also. They did have recommendations when development of the property occurred, but nothing that pertained to the large-scale amendment that's at issue. And then lastly, I have included resumes of our consultants who are all here to answer any questions. Laura Mills-Gutcher, our planner, Pat Imhoff, our environmental specialist, and of course Scott Jenkins, the master of site plans and engineering. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I just have a comment. I want to commend the developer and Christy for getting together and working this out ahead of time so that we don't have to do it here. So that's what it's all about, is working together to make these projects work for our communities and the Eagles.
Yes, thank you.
And the,
Yes.
Okay.
well said.
Mr. Theriak, did you provide a copy to the clerk of this book?
Yes,
Okay, good. All right. All right, what's the board's wishes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, is there any public comment? Ms. Bowman?
There's something that you want.
Coy Bowman, B-O-W-M-A-N. J&L Eagle Cove is called J&L Eagle Cove because they have to have the J and the Eagle in their name, because 22S20 belongs to Jesse J. Giles, which is actually a manipulation of the word eagle, Jess E. Giles, eagles, and seagulls. So it goes back to the fact that they don't own this land. So I'm just going to go ahead and instead of, because the radiation is on way high today, I'm not going to be able to stay for the whole meeting. So I just want to go ahead and say that you can't do any of this. You can't, okay, so like from this moment forward, all land classifications will immediately revert back to their 1974 federal classifications. And you can just forget building anything else because you're done. In order to do any more, you would have to kill me.
Ms. Bowman.
And I know you're trying to kill me.
Ms. Bowman,
I'm trying to say
Wait a
everything
minute.
I have to
I
say so I
want
can get out of here.
are gonna,
You can't do any of this.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, Christie.
Hang on a minute, let's make sure she's out of here.
Okay.
Okay, proceed.
Yes, Christie Coldaway, and I do want to say how much I appreciate all of your work on these, and this is for 3 and 4, both of the waterfalls, things that you're gonna look at today, that I know that Commissioner Commander and Commissioner Jones have been working on this a long time, Mr. Carpenter and all of his staff, and the owners, Mr. Bloomberg and Mr. Hollis, and Mr. Thrack and Mr. Jenkins. So I do really appreciate everyone's reviewing, looking at it. This is a sensitive project with our eagles and our environment, and I thank you so much. And I
Thanks, ma'am.
approve of the changes.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none,
We have a motion.
we have a motion, second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay. That's it on that one. You got one more? Okay, number 4? Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners. Number 4, Waterfalls by the Bay, PUD overlay ordinance. This is an adoption hearing. This particular item came before the Planning Commission on June 14 and got a recommendation of approval unanimously. On July 10, the Board of County Commissioners held a public hearing for this particular project and approved the request, or approved the first reading of this particular ordinance. The applicant has made his presentation. If you got any additional questions, we're happy to answer those. This will be an amendment to Land Development Code to add sections 2.06.05 and Appendix PDO-4 to the Walton County Land Development Code.
Okay. It's the board's wishes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Commissioners, that brings us to item number 5, our comprehensive plan amendment item. This is a request to transmit to state agencies for review substantive and technical amendments to the intergovernmental coordination, public school facilities, infrastructure, and capital improvements elements of the adopted Walton County Comprehensive Plan. Proposed amendments strike the public school concurrency-related document at the request of the school board. It eliminates the requirement for proposed developments to provide for public school facilities concurrent with development. Previously, we had a state comprehensive plan requirement that we had to adhere to. That was removed by the legislature, and at the request of the school board, they prefer to work informally with the applicants with regard to school impacts. Additionally, there are some proposed changes that establish policy related to the implementation of the Eglin Air Force Small Area Studies, which we had a few years back. They contain recommendations for development compatibility with the mission and operations of Eglin Air Force Base in Walton County. And there are other proposed changes that reduce internal inconsistencies, create consistency with the adopted and proposed land development code, and they eliminated outdated references. Chris and Shell has worked very hard on this particular project with our consultant Matrix, and we're happy to answer any additional questions you might have.
Any questions from the board? Seeing none? What's the board's wishes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Commissioners. That brings us to the quasi-judicial section of our agenda.
Anyone who anticipates testifying on any of the remaining agenda items, if you would stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you will provide to this board will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Whenever you come forward, if you would state your name and state that you've been sworn in. Have any of the commissioners had any ex parte communications on any of these items?
I have, and I'll get them to the clerk today.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Commissioner Jones, would that ex parte communication impact your decision-making? Okay, thank you. We're ready to proceed.
Thank you. Our first item is number 9 on our agenda. This is Magnolia Cottages Phase 2A plat. This is a request to approve a final plat. It's been reviewed by Bob Baranti. Emerald Coast Associates has submitted the application on behalf of Creek Park LLC, requesting approval to plat a 25-unit single-family subdivision on 5.06 plus or minus acres. Future land use is traditional neighborhood development. The project is located at the east end of County Highway 30A to Patina Boulevard. It's identified by the project number in your package. This item has previously been approved as a minor development, and this is the final stage of that particular application. Happy to answer any questions if you have some.
Any questions for Mac? Okay, does the applicant wish to speak?
Good morning. I'm Darrell Burgess with Emerald Coast Associates. I have been sworn. The project is complete. The infrastructure has been certified and inspected by the county, and this should be a matter of formality and procedure. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
All right, any questions? Seeing none, thank you. All right, what's the board's wishes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. That brings us to item number 10, the Kaya Conceptual PUD Phase 1 plat. This is a request to approve by final order. It was previously approved by development order. It's been reviewed by Tim Brown. Plat application submitted by Interlight Engineering on behalf of SBG-PR-LLC, requesting approval to plat 22 residential lots on approximately 6.78 acres with the future land use of traditional neighborhood development and small neighborhood. Project's located on the north side of County Road 30A, east of Watersound Parkway and west of North Charles Street. And it's identified by the parcel numbers in your package. Leave the applicants here and be happy to answer any questions you might have. This is the final step of the development approval for this section of Kaya.
Okay. Any questions for Mac? Okay, applicant?
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm David Smith with Interlight Engineering, and I have been sworn in. The infrastructure has been installed consistent with the approved development order, and it's also been certified and approved by Walton County and all other agencies. So I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you all may have.
Maybe, just a minute, Dave.
Sure. Yes, sir.
It's my standard question, how are you handling your stormwater runoff?
It's a series of exfiltration systems that are integrated throughout the community. Yes, sir.
All right, any questions for Dave? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
What's the board's wishes?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. That brings us to item number 11. This is the Sellers Tile case. Request to approve by final order. It's a major development that's been reviewed by Tim Brown. Submitted by All Day Howell Engineering on behalf of Sellers Tile Distributors, requesting approval to develop a 20,600 square foot commercial building on approximately 2.01 acres with a future land use of village mixed use. The project's located at 2800 US Highway 98 West and is identified by the parcel numbers in your project, or in your package. The TRC voted to approve the project, subject to outstanding comments and conditions on May 2nd. Design Review Board approved this project by a vote of 4-0 at their meeting on July 5th. And on August 9th, the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval of the project and move it forward to the Board of County Commissioners. The applicant is here and is prepared to answer any questions you might have about their proposal.
Okay. Does the applicant wish to speak?
Hey, my name is John Feeney with All Day Howell Engineering. I have been sworn in, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. We have all our permits for this project, so we're ready to go.
Any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, okay, thank you, sir. What's the board's wishes?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion and a second. Any public comment? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. That brings us to item number
12.
Item number 12. The McDonald's remodel. This is a request to approve by final order. It's a major development that's been reviewed by Tim Brown. The application is submitted by CPH Inc. on behalf of the McDonald's Corporation, requesting approval to remodel the existing structure, to add a dual drive-through and make architectural improvements and ADA improvements on approximately 1.179 acres with the future land use of Coastal Center. Project's located at 12830 US Highway 98 West and is identified by the parcel number in your package. This development proposal received approval from the TRC, subject to conditions, on May 2nd of this year. The Design Review Board approved it with one condition by a vote of 4-0 at their meeting on July 5th. And on August 9th, the Planning Commission voted to recommend approval of the project and move the project forward to the Board of County Commissioners. The applicant
Is the applicant here?
is here
All right, I got a question for him.
and available to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions for Mac? Okay, thank you, Mac. Applicant?
I'm Jason Toole with CPH, here representing McDonald's, and just basically here to answer any questions if you have any.
Well, I noticed the DRB had a condition of the project lighting not to
Correct. They take it from, I think it was 5,000 Kelvin. We reduced
Down
it
to
to 3,000 Kelvin. Yeah,
Sorry.
and that has been revised.
Were you sworn in earlier?
I was not,
Okay,
sorry.
could you raise your hand?
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you'll provide to this board will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so you did reduce it from 5 to 3.
Correct, yes, and that revised lighting plan was resubmitted back in to the county.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for him? All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, what's the board's wishes?
Motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any public comment on this project? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. That concludes our agenda this morning.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
approve, a motion to
Adjourn?
adjourn.
So moved.
I'm so
We
used to-
stand adjourned.